What is going on, guys? This is Rockst4r here, and today I have part 7 of the history of Rockst4r, and we are actually going to backtrack for this one because I've just realized I've left out a huge event in my history, and I honestly thought this was later on, but I was looking back and actually searched a few old links and was looking up stuff, and I've realized I've completely skipped over this, and this is definitely one of my most important parts of my history, so definitely got to come back and touch base on this for a bit, and let's go ahead and get into it because I'm actually very excited to talk about this. This was a huge part of my history, and it is honestly one of my favorite memories as well, and I have no idea how I skipped over this. This was definitely something I need to talk about, but without further ado, here we go. So this was back in the beginning of 2009. I had just got my capture card that December, end of November of 2008. Right after War came out, so just to get an idea of what time frame this is, because we're backtracking. This was early 2009, actually in January. So when game battles for January, like they used to do this thing back in the day where they would have a yearly like poll ratings where they would ask people who the best player was for each game. Best leader, best player, most clutch player, best sniper, all this stuff. They would ask like on the forums for you to vote for your favorite players, and they had COD4 voting, War voting, even though it had only been out for a few months, and of course they had Gears of War, Halo, all of that stuff they had voting for. And for COD4 they had as the best sniper, DTreats actually won that. I came in second, I believe, for that. I think I may have hinted at that back in another video, but for War I actually won best sniper for that. So for COD4 it was Doggio, for War it was me, and literally like 2 days after they announced that, Game Battles decides to host a 2v2 box sniper tournament on COD4, and right when it was announced, DTreats contacts me and he's like, "What's up, man? Do you want to make some easy money off of this tournament? Me and you are going to team up, and we're basically going to run things." And you know, I was down from the get-go. I was definitely ready for it, and I quickly said yes, and I was like, we're absolutely going to run the table on everybody. And honestly, I think everyone kind of knew it. And whenever we made the team, of course, it was just Rockst4r and Doggio was the name of the team. And before the tournament started, we had signed up for it maybe a week before, but leading up to the tournament, Envious actually contacted us and asked to sponsor us for the tournament. I guess they may have thought that we were going to win the tournament, so they figured this would be a good way to you know, get another victory of tournaments under their belt. So they actually asked to sponsor us, and they're like, yes, we'll pay for your credits and all of that stuff. So we were down for it, and even though we had already bought our credits, Envious told us they would pay us for our credits. All we had to do was change our name on the roster to Envious, Rockst4r, and Doggio. So we went ahead and did that. So basically we were sponsored by Envious for this tournament. So as for the tournament itself, it was a one-day event that took place on a Sunday. I do remember that much. And for the rules, it was 2v2, box sniper, had to use bolt action. Radar was always on. It was TDM, and you had like 10 minutes rounds and stuff. So that was the rules. That was it. It was just 2v2 straight up deathmatch. And me and Doggio were on teams, of course, and every other team in this tournament was actually pretty legit. Like a lot of MLG players that just basically had credits stacked up decided to enter the event. So there was actually the whole Envious team at the time was in the tournament, even though they were sponsoring us. And some players from Team Fear, like I think it was Choppy and Pac-Man, they were also in it. And a few other players that were also pretty good also decided to enter the tournament. So me and Doggio actually thought we would have a pretty difficult time. I believe it was a 32-team tournament. Each round was best out of 3, and you know, we were honestly pumped for it. We were kind of the favorites to win from the start. Like they had a forum going on who you thought would win the tournament, and almost every post was Rockst4r and Doggio. So we were kind of excited about that, but we also sort of had a target on our back because you know, we're expected to win. We have to perform our best and live up to the hype. You know, we don't want to let anyone down. We want to do what we can do to win, and you know, basically show everybody that we were the best 2 snipers in the game at that time. And you know, the game time comes around for the first game. I think it was around 12 o'clock that day, and DTreats invites me. We get to host the first match. So we invite the first 2 guys we're playing against, and start the game up, and for some reason when we get into the game, like, we can't hear each other talking. Like, we're talking the whole time, but neither of us can hear one another. And so we just play the game out, and we end up winning the first one and basically run over these guys. And we get back into the lobby, and we're talking to each other, and we're like, yo, we cannot hear each other in the game chat. Like, this is kind of a disadvantage for us because we can't communicate what to do. And we were like, well, maybe that was the first round. Maybe it'll actually change when we start up the second game. So we start up the second game against this team, and sure enough, we still cannot hear each other in the game chat. I don't know what it was, but for some reason we couldn't hear each other. So we just play the next round out, and we run over these guys again to win the first round of the tournament. And we were like, what is going on? We really cannot hear each other, and this is definitely going to be an issue when we start playing some of the better teams in this tournament, because when we can't talk to one another, we can't strategize, we can't say call outs or anything like that. So it was kind of a big deal. So we set up the second round, and it was another easy team. So we start up the game, and once again we cannot talk to one another while the game is going on. And we figured this was going to be an issue throughout the whole tournament, so we figured whatever, we'll just deal with it. We'll just play each game without being able to talk to one another. We'll put ourselves at that disadvantage. So for the second round, we basically just run over these guys, basically stomp them in the ground, and we get a quick 2 wins to move on to the third round. But for the third round, this is when the competition picks up a bit. We actually square off with one of the Envy teams that was in the tournament, and we knew we were going to be at a disadvantage not being able to talk, but we figured we'd still be able to take them. And sure enough, we were able to come out on top. We took quick 2 games from these guys. The games were a little bit closer. We had been beating people by around 20-25 kills, but these guys were around 10 kills, so we knew the next round was definitely going to be a little bit tougher than this one. So for the semifinals, we square off against Team Fear, which was Pac-Man and Choppy were the 2 guys from Fear that entered the tournament. Once again, we knew this was going to be tough, so we square off against these guys. For some reason, we actually destroyed these guys. I don't know what it was, but we just ran over them, and we took a quick 2 games from these guys as well to move on to the final match, which was against the other Envy squad that was in the tournament. So since we were sponsored by Envious, and the Envy squad that was in the tournament was the other team that was in the finals, you knew Envious, one of the Envy teams, were gonna win this tournament. And you know, we wanted to win because we were the snipers and these guys were the competitive guys, and we knew it was going to be a good match. So for the final match, the guys over at Game Battles actually came in and recorded the whole game. You know, they were in spectator mode and recorded. It was around 40 minutes of gameplay, because this is where we actually lose our first match. And the very first round of the game, the whole time, me and DTreats sort of just ran around, running gun with all these other teams, and we were able to be successful this way because you know, our shots were a lot more accurate than these guys. But with this team, they were a little more campy and a little more hard scoping and all of that stuff, and they actually beat us the first match. They actually kind of destroyed us the first match, and we would just sort of set back and we're like, yo, we need to actually try to figure out something to do, because you know, we can't talk to one another, and you know, this was kind of a big deal. We wanted to win this tournament. We didn't want to waste our time all day with this tournament and not come out on top. So for the second round, we played a little more safe, and we were actually able to win it. And so we were tied 1-1 going into the final round, and they were actually really, really campy this round. They literally sat in the back, and like 5 or 6 minutes went by before anyone even got a kill. But we kept pushing up and trying to test them out and trying to you know, sort of make them start running around a little bit, get them a little antsy, and it actually worked, and we were able to pick off like 2 kills really quick. And this is when they started running out at us, and we were able to just sit them down right one after another after that, and we ended up coming out on top and winning the whole tournament. So me and DTreats didn't let anyone down. We basically just came in and were able to do our thing and basically prove that we were the 2 best snipers at the time in the game. So as for the grand prize for the tournament, it was $250 a piece for the winners, and you also got your credits back, and the credits were actually 50 credits to enter the tournament, so that was actually a good bit of money to enter a tournament. But we got that back right away. But this is where things started to go pretty bad. You know, Envious supposedly sponsored us for the tournament and was going to pay for our credits, But that never happened. I never heard from any of the guys after that. They actually never did fulfill the credits and all that, but I wasn't too worried with that. But the thing I was really worried about was the $250. I've never got my money. Like, legit, Game Battles kind of screwed me over. They kept telling me that the prize was fulfilled every time I contacted them about it, and I literally contacted them numerous amount of times, and every time they said the prize was fulfilled, and I was like, listen, I've never gotten this money, and I don't know what you guys are talking about, but honestly, I have not seen my prize money from this tournament. And they basically just dropped it and would not allow me to contact them anymore. Anytime I contacted them, I would not get a response. And this is kind of when I basically just was fed up with Game Battles and basically quit playing Game Battles altogether. And that's when I really got into YouTube, started making more montages and all that stuff. But you guys have already heard about this in previous videos about my montages back in the day, so I won't get into that. But you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. This is actually my longest one. I'm sure most of you may like this a little more than my short little videos, but this is going to be a bitch to render. Just hope you guys know that I love you, and I'm actually going to upload this 11 minutes, over 11 minutes. Oh my god, this is going to take forever. I need to quit talking. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will try to get the next episode out very soon. But until then, talk to you guys later. Alright guys, peace.